Imagine a classroom where rigid, standardized testing is totally gone, completely replaced by high-stakes, real-world problem-solving. A place where students aren't just learning facts about the world, they are actively working to improve it. What does that kind of space actually look like? And maybe more importantly, what does the educator leading it look like?
Well, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're completely rethinking the educator's role. We're going to dive right into how we can manage technology and modern learning strategies to hand the reins over to our students. It's all about fostering a culture where they take true ownership of their learning and how we can model and nurture genuine creativity in these dynamic new environments.
We've got a great roadmap for today. We'll be journeying from high-level educational philosophy down to the nitty-gritty day-to-day applications in your school. We'll cover the shift to becoming a facilitator, cultivating true learner agency, a really cool real-world example with a student named Alice, the 8 essential modern skills, and wrapping up with designing dynamic learning environments. So let's jump straight into our first major paradigm shift. We're talking about moving from the traditional teacher to the modern instructional facilitator.
Traditionally, a teacher's main job is kind of like being a funnel, right? You have the knowledge and you pour it directly into your students. But stepping into the role of a modern facilitator flips that entirely on its head. Your new job is to act as a compass. You're a bridge. You're guiding students to discover knowledge totally on their own, rather than just being the absolute source of all the facts.
And this shift fundamentally changes your daily approach. Instead of standing in front of a room where one person speaks and 30 just passively listen, a facilitator thrives in a collaborative circle. You're actively pulling students into the process, encouraging them to jump into dynamic discussions and explore ideas together. Now, here's the tricky part for some of us. Being an instructional facilitator means you have to release that tight, strict control over the room. You're handing the reins over to the students. And while that might sound a little scary at first, it's absolutely crucial. It empowers the learners to set their own goals and truly determine the direction of their own educational journey. Which brings us seamlessly to our next major concept. Releasing that control is the absolute core engine of student ownership, and we call this learner agency. Educational researchers describe learner agency as the attitudes, motivations, and empowerment individuals have inside a learning space. It really shows up when students can actively choose their environment, what content they're consuming, how they want to learn it, and at what pace. It is quite literally handing them the keys to their own education.
So, practically speaking, what does this actually look like on a Tuesday morning? Well, it means building a learning by doing environment. You're setting up hands-on experiences where learners self-select their tasks. They dive deep for extended, uninterrupted blocks of time. No more jumping abruptly from subject to subject just because a bell rang.
To see how incredibly vibrant this looks in action, let's step into the shoes of Alice. Alice is a fictitious third grader, and she's on this exciting project-based mission to literally save the world from environmental pollution.
Notice how Alice's day isn't chopped up into random, disconnected subjects. At 7:25 in the morning, she's already totally driven, doing independent research and firing off emails to a real-world ecologist all the way in Antarctica. By 10 a.m., the momentum is huge. She's in the Maker Lab, taking that research and 3D printing physical wind turbine prototypes. And by 1:30 p.m., her team is fully locked in, finalizing their project to deliver a live virtual presentation back to that very same ecologist. It's fluid, it's highly focused, and it's driven entirely by a real-world problem.
And this perfectly illustrates the real-world impact of project-based learning. Because Alice and her group were so empowered by having that agency, their efforts actually reduced their school's total trash output by over 47%. That's massive. They didn't just read about the environment, they materially changed it.
But Alice's amazing day wasn't just about saving the environment. By working this way, she was actively building the essential modern skills that students absolutely need to thrive in a highly unpredictable, rapidly changing world. So let's break down what those 8 crucial skills are. First up, we've got the internal and social skills. Think of intrapersonal skills as the habits of mind, which is really just truly understanding yourself. You pair that with intrapersonal skills so you can communicate those ideas out to others. And of course, students need sharp problem-solving skills to independently tackle complex issues in real time. All of this is backed up by collaboration skills because, let's face it, the power of we is almost always greater than the power of me. But hey,
Just communicating isn't enough in the YouTube era, right? Students need strong information analysis skills to cut right through unreliable sources, paired with information presentation skills so they can show their findings visually. Add to that creativity skills to imaginatively express those ideas. And finally, global citizenship. This ensures they're acting ethically across both real-world and digital spaces.
All right, so you understand the role and you know the skills we're aiming for. But how do we, as instructional facilitators, actually manage the technology and design the environments that make a day like Alice's possible?
One incredibly powerful strategy you can use is flipped learning. So instead of standing and lecturing during class, that direct instruction is recorded on video, and students watch it at home as an individual assignment. This is a total game changer. It brilliantly buys back your highly valuable class time, letting you actually be that guide on the side to offer customized, differentiated instruction and real hands-on facilitation.
We can also effectively manage blended or hybrid environments. This is where online technology handles certain parts of the curriculum, mixing those online activities directly with classroom meetings. It complements, but absolutely does not replace face-to-face interactions. It gives students flexibility while keeping that vital human connection and sense of community alive.
And then flexible mode courses take this whole idea of agency a giant step further. They offer multiple delivery modes, giving students the ultimate power to choose the specific method that best fits their unique learning style, their life schedule, and their pace. It is pretty much the ultimate expression of learner agency in course design. But we can't just stop at digital spaces. We have to intentionally build physical spaces too, like maker labs, to really nurture that creative expression. Dr. Gary Steger puts this beautifully. He describes the maker movement as the marriage of new technology with timeless craft traditions. It blends cutting-edge engineering with the basic human desire to create, that rugged do-it-yourself determination, and the internet's amazing ability to share expertise.
These physical makerspaces give students the absolute critical room to prototype, explore, fail safely, and retry. Because nurturing creativity requires a space completely free from the fear of failure. If you look closely, these setups perfectly mimic the highly innovative collaborative environments of modern companies like Google or Under Armour. You are quite literally preparing them for the modern workforce.
So as we wrap up this explainer and you reflect on everything we've talked about, from managing tech to truly nurturing creative ownership, I want you to ask yourself one final, vital question about your own classroom. Are you going to remain the sage on the stage, simply imparting facts? Or are you ready to become the guide on the side, empowering your students to actually go out and save the world?